Alright everybody, welcome back to Burn in Memory. When we left off I was trying to find the code to the safe. And I finally did, but I wanted to share it with you guys before I open it because I don't know what's inside of it. So the way I did that is when you come into this building, you notice, some things around, and one of the things that you notice is the tricolor flag bearing the Kingdom of Italy colors. And also the little picture of that Giuseppe Garibaldi guy. And the code for this, which I thought was really cool and really interesting, and it took away a little bit of my frustration with this game, is actually the year he was no longer in service. He was serving his country. And they put that in there. Oops. Which is like a really just cool, interesting part of actual history that happened. And he went out of service in 1871. So that was a code to the safe, and I thought that was really cool. So, in the safe, almost hidden under a dusty stack of old administrative papers, lay a single record still within its sleeve. A prelude of sorts to Alexander Scriabin's interminable yet unfinished orchestral work, Mysterium. This record was a rarity among rarities. Print on the record revealed that it had been performed and recorded here at the Imperial Opera. Let's take it. Give it to me. Now we can go back to the phonograph. Oh, we can't play that. Meh, why not? Alright, well, now we have that, the disc. So, that was cool. In a corner of the room resided a miniature cabinet set into the director's desk. It's a drawer ajar. Of course I'm gonna open it. Oh. Alright. The office overlooked the river directly below. You could hear the faint sound of water lapping against the building's supports. The director clearly made use of this view, as placed before the window were a couch, phonograph, and a reading table. And that just revealed the small safe. Set with a small portrait of Giuseppe Garibaldi. So yeah, I just thought that was really neat that they actually put that in there. Just a really awesome part of, like, actual, history that happened. And I don't know, I just found that very interesting. So, I think we went in here. I don't think there was anything of interest. No, there was just the history about the place. So that means that we can go back. And their door is locked right now. Like, I can't get into it at the second. So let's just keep going. Let's see what we can find. Nope, in there. I just turned completely back around. Now, there was another place that had a safe. I think. I've already been in here. I've already picked up the sun key. I don't know why it keeps telling me that I can take it when I've already taken it, but it does. It might just be some sort of weird some such going on. I think we already went into Lorentz. Yeah, that didn't have anything in it. So we need to make our way back to the other... There was another building, I think it was the bar, that had the Mayfly, yeah, that had the other safe in it. So we'll go ahead and... Whoop. Is that what I wanted to do? Maybe it wasn't the bar. I thought it was the bar. I could have been wrong. I already read this. Yeah, because this is where Marcel is talking to this prostitute. And she's like, I know that you're a soldier. And he's like, no, come on, me? I'm not even close. Shut up, or I'll stab you. Was there not another area that had... I thought there was another building that had a safe. Maybe I was wrong. Yeah, because I can't go into the gardens yet. I don't want to return to the Lacombe building. Oh, here we go. It was the requisition terminal. Let's see. The cast iron beams of the support structure arched overhead. So this is black banners hung from the apex of each arch. Doesn't say what's on them, so it might not be important. The administration booths had been repurposed as a set of small studio spaces. Paint of all colors stained the desk, though a strange abundance of red and black dominated the more careless marks. To the rear of the structure, an old and worn combination safe lay on the dust-laden and scratched tarnished wood floor. An antique safe, likely a holdover from the structure's former occupations as an administrative office, though tarnished with a pattern of scratched wear that suggested continued use. I don't really know where we are. I'm going to say that this is probably going to be another 18, some such. Just because it seems to be where this is set. I don't know if it is, but we'll see, won't we? It's a guessing game. No, I want to go back to 0. I could be wrong. It could be 19 something. I'm not quite sure when all this takes place, if it does take place in like the 70s and stuff. Oh, 1871. Ah, this has a lot to do with that Giuseppe guy. Okay. The safe door opened, taking with it a layer of the dust as it swept across the floor. As the hinges let out a small metallic shriek that reverberated through the silent terminal. Little use had meant only the interior of the safe was free of that ever-present dust. Within the safe, a key of high make shone as new despite the haze and gloom of the station. To the back lay a small, seemingly makeshift carbide lantern. A key fashioned to resemble the minute hand of an ornate clock. I'll take it. A carbide lantern, likely requisitioned from a bicycle of high-class make, as are often fitted with these, had been attached to a simple yet elegantly built hand-crank dynamo. Ooh, I can go back to the tower. Yeah, to the upstairs of that tower, where there was no light. I can go back there. So let's do that. No, wait. Go back. I need to go... Yes. Back in here. Enter the Institute. Examine gate remains. Yeah, I need to go upstairs. To that dark area. Ascend the staircase. Okay. The 11th floor consisted of a small hallway acting as a landing and final floor for the spiral staircase, windowless and unlit before faint light seeping in through the frame of the large door taking up the opposite end of the room. Illuminated in the lantern's soft beam, the door and its lock became legible. The door was decorated with a brass inlay, intricate metalwork designed with an almost Art Nouveau hand, its form and sensibility implying motion with every line. Locked. The provost occupied the final floor of the tower as his own private residence, a stately complex of rooms nestled below the vaulted dome that capped the building. 4 large semicircular windows filled the arches that comprised the vaulting, their glazed panes casting the evening sun and warm tones to the halls of the residence. The hallway opened directly before one of these, onto a small but well-furnished parlor, the make of which betrayed an opulence I hadn't yet encountered here. Continuing leftwards from the entrance, a curving hallway led to the lounge's mezzanine floor, and opposite this, almost hidden in shadow, a sturdy door. Enter the mezzanine. The mezzanine, though little more than a walkway with an indentation into the wall to provide room for furniture, overlooked the lounge nearly 2 floors below, bridging a narrow end to the long room. Parallel to the lounge, a stairwell leading downwards was accessible through an unlocked door off the mezzanine. On the opposing wall from the parlor entrance, double doors presented the provost's private archives through insert glass. Let's check out the parlor. The provost occupied the final floor. Oh, I already read this. Back to the mezzanine. Enter the archives. Though similar in dimensions to the lounge, drawing curtains and little sunlight meant the provost's private archive was poorly lit and of a cold hue. The archives were centered around a multi-level rectangular staircase, descending, with bookcases taking up the available space on each landing. Despite its cramped demeanor, the room was decorated with the same almost Baroque features as the rest of the residences, going as far as to emphasize the cases with brass inlay. The first step began opposite a doorway leading into the study. On the first landing, a mirror hung between two cabinets. Let's activate the memory first. A mirror is the perfect memorist. Why? Faithfulness. The mirror is an object of absolute faith and perception. It cannot lie, and there is no truth it cannot impart in perfect clarity, the first voice says. However, a second voice replies, it does not remember. Doesn't need to. This world of matter and decay remembers exactly what it must remember, and forgets only that which it must not. And the mirror in its faith dutifully follows. We must strive to be as the mirror, to remember only what we must. And what must we remember? That only what we have remembered is that which we must. But are we not fallible? We are human. We can lie, and there is no truth we cannot pervert. Like all truths, this we must mirror. Don't you see? We must reflect our perversion in perfect clarity, our clarity in perfect perversion. We must look behind the mirror. There was reams of this, thoughts trapped in endless loops, intermittently interrupted with fragments of spurious historical narrative written in an unwilling hand, like detritus caught between two mirrors to be amplified in repetition. The provost had allowed us access to his archives in exchange for bread and water. There's nothing like starvation to call into question the value of your works. In truth, though, bread and water were not all he requested. He had asked for another need met, a very specific record from a very specific place. He had insisted, and we had obliged. Strange. It was such a trivial thing. Alright. So let's go ahead and examine... Oh, we examined the mirror already, right? Yeah. Oh, maybe not. A mirror shaped in the fashion of a kite shield framed in brass. Bam! Flip it over. A mirror a key hung from the center of the mirror's exposed rear. It's mine. A delicate thing, with a contour fashioned in the form of a crescent moon. Sharp, almost bladed, yet polished to a mirror's sheen. Well, I'm taking it. It belongs to me. Into the study. The provost's study overlooked the river, joining the fog-laden horizons far below. Drawn curtains left little of this vista visible, however. Yeah, open. Overlooked the river, joining the fog-laden horizons far below. From up here, the far bank of the river was now visible, and in those days when the tower was built, another nation. Something small and black was caught in the gables just below the window. Facing inward, a high-backed chair was set before opulently decorated and furnished desk. At the opposite end of the study, a massive mirror extended from wall to wall, doubling the room. To the same scheme as the archives, the other walls consisted of vitrine cabinets lined with books. Let's look at the fragment. A third or so fragment of a phonograph record. No label disclosing the recorded work was visible, though the last segment of the place of its manufacture was stamped near the rim of the disc. Hofoper am Rhein, the opera house in the Latin Quarter. Well, that's interesting. I'm gonna have to go and check that out. Okay, let's return to the mezzanine. To the lounge. Okay. Extending down from the vaulting in tall panes to catch the rays of the setting sun and clear, the windows in their glare cast on to me an open arch of light. Slanting to a small degree, the sunlight caught in emphasis the long right wall of the narrow hall to cast a mirror sheen over those many paintings canvassing it. Under the mezzanine, twin glass panel doors led into the kitchen, firmly locked. Initially mistaken for a mirror, to the right of the fireplace was a particularly large painting, depicting in near perfect clarity the room before it. Below these was set a fireplace armored with thick black iron bars darkened by use, and bellowing out from the hearth black stains on red carpet. Though almost uncanny to stand before at some distance, the painting's illusion of reflection broke down under close examination. This also revealed another detail. The ash and soot below the painting had been disturbed, as if something had swept this detritus aside. The painting held as if bolted to the wall by some mechanism. Alright, well, let's check out the fireplace. Using the fire iron to disturb the ashes, I investigated the debris. The fire had been fueled last with the remains of books and furniture, an act of violence or necessity. This examination also turned up another queer detail on the roof of the hearth. Judging by the disruption in the ubiquitous coat of soot, a short bolt-like metal bar had seemingly been retracted horizontally into the wall. The bolt slid out of the wall with a metallic thud. Maybe now I can go and mess with the painting? Let's go check. The painting gave way with ease, revealing a small passage leading up. Going inside the secret passage is always a good idea, remember. Circling upwards in a tight spiral to meet the loft, the surfaces of the passage were still decorated to a modest degree with wooden paneling despite its necessarily obscure nature. The arched beams of the dome met at the pinnacle in a circle of glass, open to the warm light of evening. Under this, an unlit chandelier sent the little light that creeped through into shards of light across the loft, giving the room a fractured, broken quality. A tight iron staircase spiraled up from the center of the loft to meet the apex, deftly avoiding the chandelier by virtue of that fixture's inverted, inward-facing form. Below the staircase was a circular landing of unusual material, solid plate steel with a curious segmentation seeming to suggest its motility as part of a greater mechanism. The tip of the great tower, the highest point in the city and by any measure a rival to many in Europe, was a delicate spire of glass with a steel skeleton exposed to the dusk air. At the center of the structure was a large phonograph on an iron pedestal affixed to the staircase. The staircase and the phonograph together had such synchronicity in design and form as to feel as one device. A phonograph of unusual size, large and with ornamented legs joining it to the staircase, the amplifying horn faced out towards the city, through an opening in the pinnacle structure, and in a city as silent as this voice should carry far. The needle was locked, making the phonograph inoperable, with the device bearing the numerals 12. I should probably write that down so I don't forget it, because I have a feeling I'm gonna need it, and then I'm gonna be like, wait, what was it? Okay. Yes, put the record. Then, okay. Alright. I guess I couldn't do anything about that. For now. There was no little, like, wibbly wobbly bits. Nope. I'm missing two. Another hand and this small key. Back to the hidden passage, I suppose. No things. Nope. Turn to the lounge. Okay, I did that. Back to the mezzanine. I did the archives. I went into the lounge. I guess we'll go back. Doesn't seem to be anything else that we can do here right now. I think. I guess we'll keep going out. Okay, well this one was already unlocked. I think this is where the story started. Rear gateway. It's into the promenade. Okay. So we did that. This said that we needed to go back to the opera house, or that clue said that we needed to. I don't know if we actually do. We can go in, check it out, and see if there's anything there that we need to see. Well, there's the bar. Nope, I think I went the wrong way. Sometimes it's hard to get the direction right. Imperial Opera. I guess there's not really anything we need to do here. That's just talking about the design of the place. Nope. Okay. So I wonder what we're supposed to do now. We already went into the director's office and found the things we needed there. We've already found the things we need here. There wasn't anything of great importance in this place. Let's go ahead and... Oh. What? I was gonna say it's locked. I can't go in. I was all excited there for a second. I'm sad now. No. I'm gonna go cry in the corner. Nothing here. I can't go into the Iron Gardens yet, I don't think. No, I can't. It's locked. Everything's locked. Make it stop. Nothing here. I wonder what that Roman numeral is going to be used for. It could just be the time. Maybe there's a clock somewhere that I have to turn, you know, to echo that time. Maybe every day at 12 it would go off. Maybe? Nothing here. Okay. Oh, that's just the Iron Gardens. That's just the Iron Gardens. I don't think there was anything in the bar I needed to worry about. There was just a memory here, but nothing of importance. Back east. There wasn't really anything in the Imperial Opera that I could change, I don't think. There wasn't anything left in the safe. There wasn't anything on the phonograph. There's no... I don't think there's any clocks or anything in here. No, I don't want to go to the Iron Gardens. Darn it. Every time. I need to go to, I need to go to... maybe back to the tower. Maybe? I don't think that there was anything that I could change here. Like any type of clock or anything like that. All I have is this weird Ouroboros. No, we already did this. We already did this. You don't gotta tell me. I know. Alright, go into the tower. But I don't think there was anything here that we could change, you know, time-wise and stuff like that. Like maybe it has to be set to noon. A clock somewhere has to be set to noon. This is where we found the clock. I'm just gonna keep feeding it. Just keep going up, I guess. Enter. There wasn't anything here. No clock or anything. To the parlor. Let's see. Already examined the mirror here. This is where that key was. I wonder. I already looked at the fragment of disc. Hofoper am Rhein. The Opera House in the Latin Quarter. But the Latin Quarter, the only place I could go in the Latin Quarter was my friend's house, I guess. Yeah, I don't see anything 4 o'clock, and there's not really any that is showing. It might not be that, it might be something else. I could be wrong. I wonder if I can do anything. I know there was a pendulum at some point. It talks about it, but I don't know if I can do anything with it. It's gotta be time. I'm guessing. I think it's gotta be. Let's see if I can find... Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Whoops. Let's see if I can find... I know there's a part of the building... that's just called the... It's just called the pendulum. But I want to go back outside. I'm not quite sure how to get there. No, I don't want to enter the institute. I need to go back. There it is. Examine the door. Nice. Again, an inspection revealed a seam outlining a smaller inset door, its features and lack thereof a mirror of its counterpart, but with the glaring exception of the handle, this time wrought to the theme of a crescent moon locked. I got it. Enter the door. The falls ended here, streaming down from above to meet the light in an eclectic display of incandescence. Before crashing into the steady waters of the reservoir. This place was old, carved out in antiquity, though any ornamentation that could betray its origin had long since faded under the wear of time and torrent. By way of emphasis in form and contrivance, the Institute, and by some stretch of circumstance the city, had to a formidable degree been fashioned as if in tribute to this ancient structure. But the Institute, in their duality, to put it in charitable terms, had remade this place in their image, steel columns set with brass moldings to replace ageless stone. This scheme of contrast continued to the walkways, a patchwork construction in iron and stone, the remains of ancient slabs connected where untraversable by ironwork grafted and bolted in place. To the reliquary. Nice. The waters continued their way into even deeper darkness, lazily playing around monolithic black forms, tombs built to the same duality of design that sought both the gravity of the ancient in stone and in steel the easy elegance of the modern. These streams were drawn to a sluice gate to end their journey at the river. The crypts end here in a staircase descending even further down. Before each a pedestal was set, and on these lay a familiar to represent their respective occupant, a dagger, a book, and orrery, but it was the two furthest down the stream that held my gaze. Alright, let's do the memory first. One way or another, it would all end here. I stand guard beside the watchmaker as she installs her device on the pedestal, as a dawning sense of the gravity of the choice before me constricts my breathing like a vice. Oh, it's Marcel again. I place my hand on my revolver for a measure of comfort, but immediately I recoil, repulsed by the thought of its use. I watch her precise, measured movements as she works to fit her device to the skull. A gruesome task performed to utmost elegance. She will die if I don't act now. A small noise from behind me reverberates through the crypt. Footsteps? And then everything clicks into place. I feel calm, held in the eye of the storm as I act. Drawing my gun, I say in a hoarse whisper, "It's over. You've given them a mandate to kill you now. This goes deeper than you think. Great powers are involved that will crush you underfoot to be one step ahead of the other. Come with me, or you will die here." I expected as much. She looks up at me, stands, and, serene in her expression, continues. Then so be it. If that is the price, I must pay. In one swift movement, she grabs the revolver in both hands, placing it to her forehead. "But let us not give them the satisfaction," she says. "Do your duty, traitor." "I can get us to the border," I reply. "It's only a day's walk." "I know." She bats the gun away from her head. "I just needed to know if I could trust you." A gunshot from behind deafens me as I watch her body hit the water. blood flowering from her head as the currents pull it downstream. And now, Ernst, it seems that I cannot. So she died. Alright, let's examine the clockwork skull. The skull of a former provost had been fixed with a device of unknowable purpose, brutal in its raw form yet gorgeous and intricate. A masterpiece of the profane, constructed to play a sequence of symbol and aesthetic in the minds of the viewer as to urge absolute dissent. That single gunshot, its source a revolver of German make, my training tells me unthinkingly, still echoes through the vault. It seems as it never should subside, locked in the moment of action as I turn to face the voice. It was Erwin Braun, my counterpart placed in the Institute, a man who I'd fought many a skirmish alongside in that unending bush. War that was the mainstay of the colonial protectorate. This gave me an uneasy relief, though tempered with the horror I just witnessed, and sickeningly, the knowledge that the man before me I knew so well was capable of this terror. But trust is a many-faced beast, he says in that flat, calm tone of his as he lowers the gun. This matter is over, and you can do no further wrong. The commander will hear of this and judge as he will. You've just killed a woman in cold blood, I shout, and now you lecture me on morality? She was a Red, Ernst. Erwin replies. You think the French would treat her any better after everything they did to her kind? Better than to die in a place like this, I interrupt with a sense of defeat. I cannot accept this. My dear Eisner, he replies with a sigh, to forget history here of all places. I gave her mercy. What a dick. Okay, so I can't touch anything. I can't touch anything. No touchies? No touchies. To the catacombs. Nice. Descending into the catacombs, the paradigm of iron and stone gave way to a little more than ancient bare forms of the latter, besides the occasional support pillar throwing out a dull shine before my lantern. Reliquary, yes. That's why I was going this way. The waters continued their way into even deeper darkness, lazily playing around monolithic black forms. Okay, so I already did this. Oh, I just went the wrong way is all. Whoops. So I need to go into the mausoleum. The winding passages of the catacombs ended here, in a small but well-kept mausoleum below the ribbed expanse of the Iron Garden. Examine the old gate. A simple iron gate, ornate but to a modest extent. A slightly rusted iron bar withheld entry or exit. Yeah, unbar it. Oh, I can go into the Iron Gardens this way. Okay, hold on. Is this where I came from? Okay, it is. Alright, into the mausoleum. Examine the old gate. Exit into the Iron Gardens. The first of the garden's many structures was the embarcadero? I don't know. A long glass transept consisting chiefly of a long, lazy stream running the length of the chamber. Access to the structure was by a network of walkways over the water, providing traversal to adjacent chambers and permitting survey of the many specimens of aquatic flora on display. From the interior, the crystalline gate could now be easily unbolted. Yes, unlock. The first of the garden's many structures was the embarcadero. Oh, I already did that. It's in the gate. Oh. So yeah, now I went all the way around. But I'm missing two things. I'm missing two. I need this key, which I don't know where to get that. So did the 12 mean nothing? Was it all lies? Perhaps. There's nothing in here. Interesting. Well, I know that the watchmaker made the weird skull thingy, which is not what I would have expected a watchmaker to do. It's like, so, cool. Cool. No, I don't want to go in there yet. That's where the orchard is. That's where I was told to go and meet. That whoever sent me on this journey. So you can just wait. I've already been here in the Mayfly, and there was nothing of interest in here. That's the requisition terminal, which I've been in there. It's the Institute's rear gate, which I've already been in. I've already been in here. I don't think there was anything of, like, use, really. Yeah, there's no nothing here. I've been in the opera already, and there was nothing else here of importance. It's kind of hard to decide where to go, especially I don't have this key, and I'm guessing that it's supposed to be used at my friend's house, or maybe the person isn't my friend, maybe it's just someone who I'm supposed to be getting to know. I don't know for sure. I can't go in here yet because I don't have the key that will allow me to do that. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really know how I'm supposed to get that key. I mean, obviously it's supposed to be possible. I just don't know how. So I'm kind of just confused as to how to get to where I need to be. I don't know. So the Latin Quarter is where this is. But there's no, it told me that there was supposed to be an opera house in the Latin Quarter, but maybe it means that actual, you know, opera house that we already went into. And I don't think there's anything else. So this is the pendulum. Maybe if I go up here? The steps end their straight descent with a small landing. That last stretch of vertical distance taken by an appropriately massive imperial staircase enveloping the central axis of the plaza and a crescent of stone. I think we've read this one already. Yes, we have. They were talking about burning stuff here. Ascend to Apex. So I can't turn the time or anything like that. Like, it won't let me. There's nothing I can do here. Yeah, I don't know. There doesn't really seem to be anything else we can do. You know, I couldn't mess with the phonograph. Like, it wouldn't let me physically mess with it. It was just like, yeah, it's there, but you can't really do anything with it. And it had the, you know, inscription for 12, which I took to mean, you know, the time had to be changed to that. But I haven't found any clocks or anything. It's even here. There's no italicized words. There's not really anything, is there? There's nothing in the mirror. No clock. Nothing like that. This here, it talks about like the mechanism but there's no way to do anything to it. This has to go somewhere. These two. But I don't know where to get this one. You know, you would think that I could just put this here, but I can't. I don't know. This game can be confusing. It's a little irritating when it does things like that. Especially since I've already been everywhere. I don't really know. Like, it hasn't talked about, like, you know, a clock missing hands or anything like that. Not that I've seen. It would give me a prompt, I'm sure. You know. There's nothing here that I can do. No, this is where I just was. Guess we can go back downstairs. There's nothing on the balcony we can do as far as I know. I've already read about the floors of the mezzanine. The only thing that was out here on the balcony was the device. Yeah, I don't know. Terrace, I think, is where we started it all. I would like to go back down. Back down to the promenade. It's just that there was nothing here. You know what I mean? No. Examine door. I've already been... down here to the crypts. And the reliquary and stuff like that. Unless I missed something. I mean, I guess I could just go... Yeah, there's no way to place the hand. Nothing here. Nothing here. Nothing on here. I really would like to go into, you know, into their house, because I think that if I go in the house and this is there, I'm just afraid that I'm going to be missing some vital information if I don't. I might just have to go back and do it and see what it is, and then just show you guys that when I actually find out how to do both of these. Since it's really the only place I haven't been, there has to be a way to find this key to get into that house. And I don't really know where this would be, really, because there wasn't any sort of, like, clue as to where it would be. So I guess we can go ahead and go into the Blue Orchard, where the person is waiting for us, and talk to them, and then I'll just go back through and see if I can't find this key, and if I do, I'll show you guys where I found it and stuff, okay? These are my memories, but, she trails off, there still remains a single secret kept of me and my fellows. As did much else, it died with the last provost that terrible night in May. The provost, she sighs, and after a pause continues, he hid much from us, both of knowledge and more material things, in a vault likely, but we do not know of where, or even what this stock might contain. Seek it and tell me everything, so it may be found in the waking world. Items in my apartment may be of use. Oh, this is how I get it. She reaches into her jacket pocket and continues, this will let you in. Oh, cool. Okay, I thought this was going to end the game, because she's like, I'll be waiting for you in the orchard, and I'm like, okay. Won't that end the game? So I guess it doesn't. She gives me her house key. Very good. As she walked through the orchard, she ran the tips of her fingers through the blue petals with the gentlest of touches. The black spires of the skyline loomed overhead, and it felt like it was night here, as if by some whimsical twist on the part of the cosmos. Okay, now we can go to her house. And... Nice. Nice. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. No, we'll just keep walking till We find this house. Okay, we can go in. Nice. Use the key. The Solander residence, following the same scheme as the neighboring apartments, was largely vertical affair, tall ceilings, steep stairs, and cramped rooms, as best to make the most of each renovated store. This large-scale campaign of renovation was likely the fleeing merchant prince's last-ditch attempt to make the most out of their investments, and was largely successful insomuch as you assume that the venture of constructing homes as the demand for them plummets is a project doomed to failure. Austere, but not so overwhelmingly so as to be distasteful to those already accustomed to that newfound and short-lived mid-century high life and its taste for the Baroque. Listen to the study. The solitary window faced westwards, catching the setting sun in full. Trapped in that final moment of light before nightfall, through this the boulevards were similarly illuminated, though long shadows were a reminder that this warmth would be brief. On the desk lay a book with covers of simple make. Near the window stood a well-built grandfather clock. Well, let's look at the book. Oh, I should have done the memory first. A history of the city of which you now explore. Okay. She broke the violin over one knee and, aiming at oblique angles, repeatedly and studiously impaled the instrument with thick shards of glass. The Force of Art, she titled it. The requisitioned object's previous owners felt more bemused than violated, having never actually put bow to string, and later commented that given the chance, they would likely have done a better job themselves. As we grew in number, we took our requisitions to ever larger scales. An abandoned rail car one day, an office building the next. By the time we got to the occupying galleries, the Force of Art had become quite the icon of our movement, and was duly granted a room of its own. At night we would place a small candle in its broken body, and watch the light play across the glass to spill in fractured rays across the room. It was a fitting tribute to her memory, but candles fall, and flame cares not for art or its force, and one day we returned to find only cinders and glass. Solander reads this out to me, slowly and with that faint accent of hers, that fullness of pronunciation and those long trills, but steady, little of the archetypal rolling undulation of Italian speech. Handing me my manuscript, she stands to leave. We, she sighs. It feels strange saying that now. At the time, I never could have admitted that to myself or anyone, but it was us. I can get this published, she continues. And the institution, I reply. In that way of theirs, they see it as part of their heritage now, for better or for worse. Okay, grandfather clock. A long case clock of fine make, decorated in oriental style. The pressed glass casing was glazed in a pattern to this effect, obscuring the contents to the degree that only the motion of the pendulum was readable beyond. A key hung from the swaying and somehow still functioning pendulum, caught on a lanyard draped over the timekeeper's cylindrical form, held fast by the connecting rod. A key fashioned to resemble the hour hand of an ornate clock. I got it! I got the last one! Yes! Okay. I think we got everything. Cool. Alright, so now we can go back to her. And over to the Iron Gardens. Where is it? Where are you? No, I'm lost again. There it is. There we go. I found it. Examine and enter to the orchard. What? But I already got the thing you needed, right? Is there something else I'm supposed to be doing? Oh wait. Do I need to take these back back to the institute? Maybe. I don't know. Guess we'll find out. I don't know. This game is trying to throw me for a loop. I can already tell. I don't know where I'm supposed to be going. This place is hard to traverse. There it is. Maybe this is where I need to go. We'll find out. And of course, if I don't have enough time... Okay. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and stop this video here, but I am going to continue it because I think we're getting close to the end and I don't really want to stop. It seems like there's not that much time left in it, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this here and then I will be back in just 1 second, okay?